She used to stand in front of her bedroom mirror, pretending the hairbrush in her hand was a golden microphone. Every night, the same dream played out in her mind. Bright lights, roaring crowds, her name flashing on giant screens. To her, life only had one path, fame, and she was willing to risk everything to get it. But what she didn't realize was that every dream comes with a price. And sometimes, the price is the very people you love most. Meet Claire. Outgoing, bold, and the type of person who could walk into a room and have every eye glued to her within seconds. She was magnetic, always chasing the spotlight, always hungry for more. If you asked her what she wanted most in life, she'd smile without hesitation and say, to be remembered forever. Now, Claire wasn't alone in that little two-bedroom house she grew up in. Just down the hall was Emma, her younger sister. Unlike Claire, Emma didn't crave attention. She was soft-spoken, thoughtful, the kind of person who found joy in small things. Baking cookies with their mom, playing board games with the family, sitting outside on the porch, watching the sunset. Her world was simple, but to her, it was enough. Two sisters, two completely different dreams. One wanted the world to know her name. The other just wanted to keep her family close. For a while, they balanced each other out. Claire was the wild spark, Emma the quiet anchor. But as they got older, the gap between them started to grow. Claire wasn't satisfied with just daydreams anymore. She wanted to turn them into reality. And Emma? She just wanted to hold on to the bond they had before everything started to change. At first, it was harmless. Claire posting silly videos online, singing covers of her favorite songs, recording little skits in their messy living room. Emma laughed along, even held the camera for her sometimes. It was fun, just two sisters making memories. But when those videos started gaining attention, when strangers online began calling Claire the next big thing, something shifted. Suddenly, the dream wasn't just a fantasy anymore. It was possible, tangible, and Claire could feel it pulling her away from the life she once knew. The more followers she gained, the more distant she became. Family dinners? Skipped. Movie nights with Emma? Brushed off. Everything that used to matter started to feel too small for her. Emma watched as her sister's eyes lit up for strangers on a screen, but dimmed whenever she was around. And deep down, Emma wondered, was Claire chasing her dream, or was she running away from them? Because fame doesn't just open doors. It changes people. And once you get a taste of it, there's no going back. But neither of them knew just how far Claire was willing to go, or how much it would cost both of them. And what happened next, no one in their family ever saw coming. Long before the bright lights and the cameras, Claire and Emma's lives were ordinary. They grew up in a quiet town where everyone knew everyone. Their dad worked long shifts at the local hardware store, while their mom juggled part-time jobs just to make ends meet. Money was tight, but their parents always tried to keep the family close. Claire and Emma shared almost everything: clothes, secrets, even a tiny desk where they'd do their homework side by side. But even then, it was clear they were wired differently. Claire was loud and daring, the one who volunteered to sing at school talent shows or start food fights in the cafeteria just to make her friends laugh. Emma was calmer, more careful, the kind of kid who carried extra pencils in case someone forgot theirs. Despite their differences, they had each other's backs. If Claire got into trouble at school, Emma was the one defending her. If Emma felt too shy to speak up, Claire would step in and make sure her voice was heard. They balanced each other like two sides of the same coin. But balance doesn't always last forever. By the time Claire hit high school, her hunger for attention only grew stronger. She joined theater, choir, anything that gave her a stage. Her teachers called her gifted, her classmates called her extra. But Claire didn't care. She loved the spotlight. Emma, meanwhile, leaned more into family. She'd spend her weekends helping their mom cook, or babysitting their cousins, or simply sitting at the kitchen table, journaling about the things that mattered to her most. It wasn't that Emma didn't believe in dreams. She just believed in different ones. To her, the greatest success wasn't applause from strangers. It was keeping the people you loved close. Still, she supported Claire. She clapped at every school performance, helped her record practice runs, even stayed up late helping her memorize lines. But sometimes, late at night, Emma couldn't help wondering, where did she fit in Claire's picture of the future? The first crack in their bond came when Claire posted a singing video online without telling anyone. She thought it was just a bit of fun. But the video blew up overnight. thousands of views, comments calling her the next big thing. For Claire, it was proof that her dream was finally within reach. For Emma, it was the beginning of something she couldn't name, yet something that felt like slipping away. Soon Claire was glued to her phone, checking views and likes, brushing off Emma's attempts to hang out. Family dinners became background noise while she planned her next post. Their mom worried it was getting out of hand, but their dad just shrugged, saying it was a harmless hobby. Emma tried not to let it bother her. She told herself it was just a phase, that Claire would eventually grow tired of chasing strangers' approval. But the more Claire climbed, the more invisible Emma felt. And then came the day when Claire got an opportunity so big, it threatened to change everything. It all started with an email. Claire had been sending audition tapes to talent agencies, most of them ignored or rejected. But this one was different. A well-known manager in the city had seen her viral video and wanted to meet in person. For Claire, it was everything she'd been waiting for. For Emma, it was the beginning of the distance turning into a wall. The night Claire told her family, her eyes sparkled brighter than Christmas lights. She talked nonstop about how this could be her big break, how she'd finally get the chance to be someone. Her parents were half proud, half worried, but Emma just sat there, quiet, the smile on her face not quite reaching her eyes. "Isn't this amazing?" Claire asked, shaking her sister's arm like a little kid. "Yeah, amazing," Emma said softly. But inside, she felt something else, something sharp, something she couldn't explain. Because all she could think about was what this meant. If Claire went to the city, if she actually became famous, where would that leave Emma? The days that followed were tense. Claire started practicing late into the night, rehearsing songs and monologues until her voice cracked. Emma would wake up to the sound of her sister's muffled singing through the walls, staring at the ceiling, wondering why it suddenly felt like she was losing her. When the day of the meeting finally came, Claire didn't ask Emma to come along. She didn't even mention it until she was already leaving. "Wish me luck," she called from the front door, dressed in her best outfit, hair curled, lips painted with their mom's old lipstick. Emma stood in the hallway, frozen. She wanted to say something, "Good luck, I'm proud of you, don't forget me," but the words got stuck in her throat. All she could do was watch her sister walk away. Hours later, when Claire came back, her face was glowing. She didn't even wait to sit down before blurting out the news. "They want me. They actually want me. I might get signed." The room erupted in excitement. Their parents hugged her, congratulated her, promised they'd support her all the way. And Emma? She forced another smile. But deep down, the truth stung. Her sister wasn't just dreaming anymore. She was stepping into a world that Emma couldn't follow. And what happened next would push their bond to the breaking point. The weeks after Claire's meeting felt like a storm brewing inside the house. Every conversation circled back to her career. New songs to record, outfits to buy, contracts to sign. Even dinner became a stage, with Claire talking faster than anyone else could keep up. Their parents encouraged her, nodding, smiling, telling her how proud they were. But Emma? Emma sat at the table, quiet, picking at her food, her voice drowned out by the noise. It wasn't just that her sister was chasing fame. It was the way everything else seemed to be fading into the background. Family traditions, late-night talks, silly inside jokes, they were slipping away, one by one. And Claire didn't even notice. One night, Emma tried to bring it up. They were in their shared bedroom. Posters of singers covering Claire's wall, while Emma's side was decorated with photos of their family. Two worlds staring at each other across a small space. "Claire, don't you think things are moving too fast?" Emma asked carefully. Claire laughed. "Too fast. This is what I've always wanted. You know that." "I know," Emma said softly. "But do you ever think about what we'll lose?" Claire's smile faltered, just for a second. Then she shook her head. "Emma, you don't get it. You never did. Not everyone wants to stay stuck in this tiny town forever. I want more." The words hit Emma like a punch. Stuck? Was that how Claire saw her? Just someone holding her back? From that moment, the tension grew heavier. Claire was out more often, practices, rehearsals, networking events in the city. When she was home, she spent more time on her phone than with Emma. The space between them stretched wider, until Emma started wondering if she even knew her sister anymore. Then came the night everything boiled over. It was supposed to be a simple family dinner, one of the last before Claire officially signed her contract. Their mom had cooked Claire's favorite meal, trying to make it special. The table was set, candles flickering, laughter filling the room. For a moment, it almost felt normal again. Until Claire dropped the news. "I'm moving to the city," she announced. "They want me there full time. This is it. This is my chance." Their parents froze, forks halfway to their mouths. Emma's heart stopped. Claire kept talking, listing all the exciting things waiting for her, the people she'd meet, the places she'd see. But Emma couldn't hear any of it. All she could think about was how quickly it was happening, how casually her sister had said the words, like leaving home. Leaving her was nothing. Her chest tightened. Her voice shook as she finally blurted out, "And what about us, Claire? What about me?" The room went silent. Claire looked at her, and for the first time, there was no excitement in her eyes. Only something sharp, something Emma didn't recognize. And what Claire said next would change everything between them. The silence at the dinner table felt endless. Emma's words still hung in the air, heavy and sharp. Claire finally spoke, her voice low but steady. "You don't get it, Emma. I'm not just moving to the city. I've already signed the contract." The room spun. Emma's fork clattered against her plate. "You already signed?" Claire nodded, eyes darting to their parents, then back to Emma. "I was going to tell you tonight. But it's official. I leave next week." Shock rippled through the family. But before Emma could respond, Claire's voice cracked with something Emma had never heard before: fear. "There's more," she whispered. "The contract, it doesn't just want me. They want control. They made me agree to cut ties, with distractions, with anything that could hold me back." Emma froze. "Distractions?" "They called family a distraction," Claire admitted, her voice trembling. "If I stay close to you, I could lose everything. They made me choose." The words shattered the air like glass. Claire hadn't just chosen fame. She had chosen it over them. And for the first time, Emma realized her sister might already be gone. Emma's chest tightened, her pulse thundering in her ears. She stared at Claire, searching for the sister she once knew. The girl who used to braid her hair, sneak midnight snacks, laugh until their stomachs hurt. But all she saw now was someone she didn't recognize. "You chose them over us?" Emma's voice shook. "Over me." Claire flinched. "I didn't have a choice." "Yes, you did." Emma shot back, her hands gripping the edge of the table. "You always have a choice." The room erupted, her parents begging them to calm down, Claire insisting no one understood. Emma's tears finally broke free. "I never cared about fame, Claire. I just wanted my sister. That's all I ever wanted." For the first time, Claire's confidence cracked. Her voice wavered. "Emma, I'm scared. What if I fail? What if I give all this up, and then I'm nothing?" Emma swallowed hard, her heart aching. "You're not nothing. You're my sister. You've always been enough for me. But if you walk away now, I don't know if we'll ever get back what we had." The room fell silent again, the weight of her words pressing down like a storm. Claire's eyes filled with tears, her hands trembling as if torn in two. And just when Emma thought her sister might finally break down and choose family, Claire whispered something that made everyone freeze. "I already moved my stuff out." Emma's breath caught. "What?" Claire wiped her cheeks, unable to meet her gaze. "The city's apartment. They gave me the keys last week. I didn't want you to find out like this, but I'm already leaving. Tomorrow." The air shattered. The final thread holding them together snapped in an instant. Emma felt her world tilt, her body numb. Claire wasn't just planning to leave. She was already gone. And as Emma stared at her sister across the table, one painful truth sank in. Sometimes, love isn't enough to make someone stay. But deep down, Claire's trembling hands told another story, a story Emma wouldn't discover until it was far too late. The next morning, the house was unbearably quiet. Boxes lined the hallway, Claire's clothes, her posters, the microphone she'd begged for on her 16th birthday. Emma sat on the edge of her bed, clutching a photo of the two of them at the county fair, cotton candy smeared on their faces, arms wrapped around each other like nothing could ever break them apart. But now everything had. Claire appeared in the doorway, suitcase in hand. Her eyes were red from crying, but her makeup was perfect, like she was already stepping into the role she had chosen. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The weight of unsaid words filled the air between them. Finally, Claire whispered, "I don't want to lose you." Emma's throat tightened. "Then why are you leaving?" Claire's hand shook as she set the suitcase down. "Because I don't know who I am without this. I've chased it for so long. I don't know how to stop now." Tears burned Emma's eyes, but she stood up, walked over, and pulled her sister into a hug. Then promise me one thing. Promise me you won't forget who you are with me. Because no stage, no crowd, no amount of fame will ever love you the way your family does. Claire clung to her, trembling. For the first time in weeks, Emma felt her sister's arms hold on like they used to. It wasn't a perfect fix, but it was something, a fragile thread still holding them together. When Claire finally left that afternoon, Emma stood on the porch, watching her disappear into the horizon. It felt like losing a part of herself, but she also knew this wasn't the end. Their story wasn't finished, it was just changing. Weeks turned into months. Claire's face started popping up everywhere, on screens, on billboards, in conversations around town. People called her a rising star. Emma watched from afar, proud but aching, clinging to the memories of who Claire used to be. Then one night, Emma got a message. It was a photo from Claire, backstage, still in costume, but with tears streaming down her cheeks. The caption read, "I miss home." Emma smiled softly through her tears. Maybe Claire had chosen fame, but deep down, the girl who once sang into a hairbrush was still there. And as long as she remembered, there was hope. Because sometimes, family isn't about keeping someone from leaving. It's about being the place they can always come back to. Emma closed her eyes, holding on to that truth. Her sister's journey was far from over. But no matter how far Claire went, Emma knew one thing. Family would always be waiting. And in the end, maybe that was stronger than fame.